One day the bear invited the raven and his new wife Crow for dinner. Mrs. Bear cooked a lot of fish. When the fish was done cooking, Mrs. Bear put it on a platter and served it to Mr. Bear, the raven, and his wife Crow. Before they started eating, Mr. Bear told his wife to put a bowl by the fire. Mr. Bear walked over near the fire and held his claws over the bowl. As his claws got hot, they began to drip oil into the bowl and fill it up. When the bowl was full of oil, Mr. Bear served it to Mr. and Mrs. Raven to dip their fish in when eating. When dinner was over, Mr. and Mrs. Raven thanked the bears for their meal and went home. One day Mr. Raven said to his wife,
"It's time now we return our thanks to Mr. Bear and his wife."
So Mr. Raven went fishing and brought his catch home and cooked it by the fire on sticks. When the fish was done, he invited Mr. and Mrs. Bear for dinner. They sat down and began to eat, but couldn't because there was no oil to dip their fish in. His claws began to wither and to dry and to burn. Finally, he fell backward and fainted, for his claws were all burned. And the story goes today that is why the raven's claws are black and thin. The story goes that Raven always imitated other people. This story is about living up to your own expectations and not trying to imitate others. Bear was able to get oil out of his paws because he stores a lot of fat in his body. But Raven was not able because his body does not have a lot of fat. When he tried to be like Mr. Bear, he got burned. When you choose how to accomplish the important things in your life, follow the feelings and strengths that you have inside you. Don't do something just because somebody else does it. There are some commendable values in this story. Hospitality and thankfulness are two that we can relate to right away. This is the Indian way. Be good to your company and be sure to be thankful.